When I was in school, I was staring out the window dreaming. In art, that's the only way I can learn. Even in science or medicine or anything, it's the creative mind that makes you a good problem solver. Art keeps that creativity, that curiosity that makes the world go around.
See and share our stories at togetherwe'remore.com.
You're listening to part 4 of this series.
Now, after Wheelock, you went to another boarding school. Tell us about that.
We had to make our own choice whether to go to Haskell or go to Shalako, and I picked Shalako. So we got on the bus. My mother asked me if I wanted to go there, and I said I would. So,
It's surprising to me why you would want to go to another school that was, a native school like that.
It's probably because everybody else did it. They all went to either Haskell or Shalako.
Okay.
Practically all of my classmates.
And were you there to basically learn a trade for your
It was a
career?
vocational school. I think it was nursing.
Oh, yeah.
There's a beautician, there's nutrition, all kinds of trades there.
Yeah.
They just didn't come out and tell you, brainwash you like they did at Wheelock. You're older now, and some of that I think had already been investigated, so they weren't like, mean to us or anything like that. Yeah. But we had to go home. We had to go home for Christmas, and we had to go home for summer. So there was no problem there with that.
At one point, you decided to run away. Can you tell us that story?
That's right. Oh my goodness. We started to, I don't know why on earth that happened. I guess it's just a teenager's in us, I guess. But we were going to run off, and my good friend and I, we packed our little stuff. As a matter of fact, our best clothes and the best possession we had. We took it, and I can remember it was just in a bundle.
Yeah.
It wasn't in a paper sack or anything like that. So it was snowy that night too. Oh my gosh, there was so much snow.
Great
in
the
there.
wrong
time.
It was
The wrong time to run away.
But there was a huge incinerator in the back, and we had to go that direction to get out of the area where we could walk. Why on earth we did that, God only knows. We walked in there, and I mean, our goal was just to get away from Shalako. We were leaving and carrying our stuff, and so we didn't know there was a guard standing there by the incinerator.
Caught once again.
Yes, one more time. So he said, "What are you girls doing?" And it was Meryl. She said, "Oh, we're just going to put things in the incinerator." Our possessions, we had to dump it in that. We dumped it. We just threw away everything, our whole life in that incinerator. The Lord said, "You girls get on back in the building. Get back in the building."
Oh no.
So we did. We had
All
to
for
go back.
nothing.
All for
So
nothing.
funny.
Didn't graduate there. I left 11 and a half years. I left there and I married. And then I graduated from here. After I married, I thought, I need to finish that half a year. So back then, what is now known as GED, I had to go to school a long time to get my grades. I sure did. And
Even grandma took classes. We helped her do her math and stuff. We went to school, when we was little kids, but that's when grandma was working on hers. And I don't know if she ever got a certificate or what. I don't know.
I've forgotten how far she went with that.
Yeah.
Had lots of math and lots of English, and but I got it all done. But I did get a full ride, Santa Fe Trailways train. They gave me I was an honor student there at Choctaw, and I got a scholarship, a good scholarship, paid for everything. Then, I decided to get married. But even after I married, they kept sending me papers that I still could go. And, at those ages, you just didn't think. You're just so ignorant about stuff. I could have got my 4 years then, but I didn't. I was on the honor roll every time, and I was eligible for scholarship, and Meryl wasn't.
No.
And what happened was, she didn't get that, but after our, we were grown, and she went on to OBU, and she never did get her degree from there, but she almost did.
Oh,
She got 3.5 years done, and I don't know why she didn't get the other. But she did go on to school. That was my best friend that we threw the stuff away with.
Did you ever get to see your family again?
Yes, because when we married, we wanted to live in Enid where he had his government job there. But for some odd reason, we were again stupid, just ignorant, just young and didn't know any better. We moved to Colgate. So we lived here all our lives until we moved to Florida for a while.
And was your mom a part of your kids' life?
Yes, the thing with that is Indian families, there's a difference in that because she had a great big part and she made it up didn't she? She made up the times that she
I
didn't.
knew Grandma really well.
Very well.
We had a diaper, a cloth diaper. That's when we had cloth diapers. But she would put that, she would warm that diaper on the stove, and then she'd put Vicks on me, and she'd come put that diaper right here. Oh, it felt so good. And then one time I remember being at her house, and I guess I was just there maybe because I was sick or something, but I was there and I was sitting in her living room, and here she comes, and she's burning cedar, she's smoking, smoking the house. And she came from the kitchen, and she had it in a little black skillet. There was one of those cast iron skillets, a small one, but it was smoking, and then she smoked she went through the whole house. And after that, I don't remember being sick anymore. God telling them, this is what will make you well, or this one will help you with allergies, or this will help you with whatever, So I always remember Grandma doing that. I always thought she lived with us, but Mom said those are the times that Grandpa was drunk, and that she would come and stay with us those times.
But then also though, I felt like she missed those days in my life. It was like making it up about loving on her grandchildren.
And after church on Sundays, we'd go to her house to eat. This was
Every
every
Sunday.
Sunday. I didn't know that that was a native tradition. They don't tell things. And so she would be outside and she would be grinding herbs and stuff, and it'd just be something Grandma did.
Yeah.
It's just something she did. She would just do it. And then she'd take it in the house and make tea out of it or something. I didn't know what it was. I can't tell you today what it was, but I should have asked her, "What are you doing, Grandma?
I should have.
What are you doing?" And so it's lost. What she did was lost because I don't know what it was.
So do you feel like you were close to your mom?
In the end, when I was a grown person, after I was grown, I had my children. That's when I believe our bonding, and I loved her, and I took care of her to her death.
Yeah, because it's got to be a weird scenario where it wasn't her fault that
it was
you were
not
taken
her
away,
fault.
but yet there probably was some kind of like, Mom, why didn't you come get me? But
But
she may
they
not
couldn't. They just
know.
couldn't have.
And the government wouldn't have let her.
No, they would not have.
Tell us the story of how you and your husband met.
We met him at that church that we were talking about, and he was a Korean War veteran, and he just got out of the service. I met him there, and eventually we married, and we had our 6 children, and we lived here, Colgate. Bought a house on the other side of town, and we lived there so many years. We built a nice big house. Then we sold it to go to Florida, minister out there, because he was a minister too,
Oh, right.
plus working for the government.
His name was Ray, correct?
Raymond Carney.
And he was Choctaw.
Choctaw, Chickasaw. At that time, the Choctaws had made an agreement that they could do this in the Choctaw Nation, that Chickasaw could build their houses in our Choctaw, unless you can't do
Okay.
it now.
Okay.
But at that time, it was in agreement. So Chickasaw built this house, then we got it. We applied and we received,
Good.
you know, help from them.
Mhm.
All these houses were Chickasaws.
Yeah. And he went to Jones Academy, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
He
Did you ever
graduated there.
talk about going there or anything?
Oh my goodness. That his mother died when he was 11. He was raised by a cousin. Well, he didn't stay there, but you know, he stayed all the time at Jones Academy too. He didn't have no place to go.
Mm.
So then he graduated 8th grade and then went to Tahlequah to Sequoia Indian School. And he graduated there at Sequoia.
Okay.
Then joined the military from there. And then he surrendered to preach years after we married. And he never retired from that at all. He preached till he couldn't preach anymore.
And then together you had how many children?
6.
6 children.
6. We had 4 children. And 7 years later, we had a boy and a girl. And we had 6 in all.
But
Yes.
you also fostered a great
Yes.
amount of children over the years.
54.
Right? 54.
54.
Amazing.
Then I adopted the last 3. When I adopted them, I didn't foster anymore because I knew I had them and they were
Yeah.
going to be here forever. And I didn't want to
They needed
add
your
any more
attention.
children to them. So
Yeah.
they live right here till they graduated.
You also were or still are a teacher, correct?
Well, not anymore too much. I think about it and then I think about all the responsibilities that go with it.
I tried to drag her back in it, but she hasn't gone
I
yet.
haven't
Oh,
seen
yeah.
it. But we took about 25 kids to language fair every year and we came back with trophies. My goodness, we've won first place
Great.
many a time.
So teaching the
And,
Choctaw language?
Yes, and they honored me, didn't they?
They honored all the teachers that had been there that long.
Well, tell us about your work at District 12.
We've been there forever. I started the activities there. I was president there for 13 years, and I wanted to do something active. So I asked the group if they wanted to go on trips, if we would raise monies, and they all agreed. So I started that little event, and it's still going strong today. As a matter of fact, we're going to go on a cruise in October.
I have 31 of us.
31 that's
yeah.
going to go.
Fantastic.
And,
31 of us.
But the thing is that we would have to raise our own, have fundraisers to raise our own trip
Okay.
money.
Yeah.
So we worked very hard, and I took them so many places.
I bet.
North Carolina, we went to
Tennessee.
DC, Tennessee 2-3 times. We
San Antonio.
San Antonio, New Mexico. Let's see,
New Mexico.
to the Grand Canyon. We I just took them everywhere. Of course, I let the younger ones take over anymore, so I don't do too much else except make the fryer bread.
Somebody's
For
gonna
Indian
do it.
tacos.
Well, I also read that you received an award for contributing to foster children's programs by the Oklahoma Department of Human Services
Yes,
and the Choctaw Nation. They also bestowed on you an Outstanding Elder Award.
yes.
Congratulations.
Yes,
You've
thank
earned
you.
that and so much more.
Then I got that AARP award too.
Well, Miss Paula, you've earned that and so much more. Yakoki for all you've done for others and for inspiring us all. And now I'd love to learn more about your story, Cheryl. You are both Chickasaw and Choctaw, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I assume you grew up there in Colgate, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Except for
Okay.
the 3 years.
Yeah. Except for a few years when Dad pastored a church in Florida, and
Okay.
we lived there for 2.5, 3 years, and then we came back home. But that was when I was a teenager, and then we came back home. But yeah, other than that, I've lived here.
Right.
That's
Oklahoma
in the
was calling your
Everglades.
name. Colgate
Yeah.
was like, come on back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to the Everglades of Florida. That was just such an
Oh.
experience.
Yeah, we lived on the
Yeah.
Hollywood. We lived on the Hollywood reservation, but Dad pastored on the Miccosukee reservation. Miccosukee reservation.
Okay.
So we'd go there on Sundays and stay there all day, and then come back home. But that's where he preached.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
pastored
Did
there at a
you-
church, at Baptist church.
I have an important question. Did you see any alligators while you were there?
Yes, we
Yes, it
did.
was in the back of our church in the canal.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, there was a
Like,
canal that ran right behind the church. And
you couldn't.
yeah, there was it was really weird and strange, but they didn't crawl up there to the church. They might have, maybe during the week or something, but not while we were
Right.
there. But you could see them in the
Uh-huh.
canal back there.
Oh, that's so creepy. I love alligators because they're kind of prehistoric looking and they're
Yes.
They
also
are.
very dangerous. So, but I guess you guys
Yes.
couldn't let the kids go outside
Oh no.
to
No.
play.
No.
And you
No.
dare not fall in the canal.
Oh boy, no. Definitely not. All right. Well, Cheryl, tell us about your husband and children.
All right. Gary is my husband. He pastors our church, and we got married. It'll be 30 years in September, and we have
Congratulations.
five kids. Gary has a daughter from a previous marriage. We have Jeremiah, of course, he's ours, and then I have three baby girls. I call them babies. They're not babies
Of
now.
course they're your
But
babies.
they'll always be my babies.
Of course.
And I have Taloa. We have Taloa and Taloa Sharp, and her and her husband. They are traveling nurses, and they've gone everywhere to work, and they've toured some other places. They've gone to the Amazon.
Wow.
Their lives are our lives, and I love the pictures that John takes. He can just take some wonderful pictures, and it's just like us going to go with them, get to go with them. Also, she's involved. She's the vice president of the Indigenous Nurses Association. Her and Sonia Frazier. She's a cousin of ours, but she's the president of this, and they made a documentary, and they just got back from DC last week, and they went to the premiere. They got to go to the premiere, and I can't wait to see the whole thing. I've seen a clip of it, but I can't wait to see the whole thing. But anyway, yeah, she got to go do that, and we wanted to go with her, but we didn't get a chance to go. And then we have Selena, and she's a door dasher. She likes her job, and so anyway,
That's awesome.
she's all over the place all the time. And then we have Hagen, and she has their last baby, and she's 6 months old now, and but she's got two a girl and a boy, Payson and Nelson, and then Olivia. So we've got them, and then Jeremiah. Of course, he doesn't have. He's not married, and he don't have no kids, and so we're trying to get him married off.
Any single ladies out there?
He wants to be so prepared, but you know how marriage is and everything, and kids are. I said, John, son, you're not ever going to be prepared. It's not going to happen. You can do whatever, but he's banking on trying to get more prepared, to do whatever. But anyway, and Selena, our door dasher, she has 5 kids. And we're going. Matter of fact, we're going to graduation tomorrow night. And of course, Taloa, she has 3 boys, and she adopted the first child, and the older one, and he has two babies. So we have greats, and Mama has greats. Anyway, that's my little family, and of course they grew up here too in Colgate. Of course, we have our home here. We've been there for 30 years.
So, what stories would you like to share about your life and your journey with us, Cheryl?
I've got some things with Grandma, and everything. And there's some things that I regret because, I used to watch her as a kid do her grandma thing, her Choctaw grandma thing. And, she would, she always had a garden. Her and Grandpa always had a garden. And then she, she would do her own herb stuff, medicine and stuff. And I never asked her, Grandma, what are you doing? Or can you show me what you're doing? Or
We never
was
think
like,
to when we're young.
and yeah, but it was like, she never said it, but it was like, just watch me and learn. She never said, come over here, I want to show you something. She never said that. Choctaw grandmas, they just, you're just supposed to know it. You're just supposed to know this stuff. And, me and Talo were talking about that the other day. And so, but, I just didn't, you don't think about when you're a kid, you're not thinking future. You're just thinking now at the present. So it was just something that I regret not knowing, and it's lost. It's a lost art that she did. And
Sure.
even with mom, she didn't know. She knew some things, but she didn't know what Granny was doing either. She just didn't. And with mom being gone, in boarding schools and stuff, she just didn't. She lost. It was something that we lost, and that was what the government planned on us doing anyway. Losing our culture, losing our traditions, and then eventually losing our language. And I remember a funny thing. It was after Grandpa had passed away, and his brother, his name was Uncle Simon. We were sitting out on her porch, and she said, "Uncle Simon, he wants me to marry him." And I said, "Really?" And she said, "Yeah." And she said, "But I don't know. I don't know." And I said, "Well, Grandma," I said, "Grandpa just died not too long ago." I said, "It might be a little too soon. I don't know." I said, "It's just up to you." She goes, "Yeah." She said, she didn't say it quite like that, but she said, "It might be too soon. Might be too soon."
Bless
So
her little heart.
she
That's
didn't marry
adorable.
him or anything, but he did get sick though, and he did passed away. He passed away before she did. She kind of laughed about it, She just didn't.
Right.
I don't think she really thought about it seriously, really. And then another thing, when me and Gary got married, our wedding was, oh my gosh. Everybody was there. We were all, getting ready to get married, and it was almost time. It was at the church. It was almost time, for the ceremony to start, And I was looking around, and I said, "Where's my grandma?" And we were all,
Oh no.
we were all wondering, "Where's Granny?" And so nobody went after her. No, everybody forgot about going to get her. And I said, "Somebody needs to go get my grandma, because I'm not getting married without her being here."
Not my grandma here.
So we had to wait. Somebody had to go get her. So she was sitting out on the porch, all dressed up, nowhere to go.
I feel so good.
Mom went and got her and brought her. I said, "Granny," I said, "I'm not getting married without you not being here." And she was laughing because nobody went to pick her. She was ready and she was waiting.
Oh,
but that was kind of funny. That
She's
was
like,
funny.
"What if they're ever going to come get me?" You and your husband welcomed me into your church, and I'm so thankful for that.
Oh,
Us
we're
more.
so glad you got to
Oh, we
come.
were just
so glad.
It was so much fun. And what a welcoming, peaceful place to get together. It was just, I walked in, I think I told you that day, I walked in and I just felt so good. Was so happy.
Yeah. We were too.
Well, tell us more about Grace Christian Fellowship for those who may want to attend.
All right. Actually, it started, and actually it was 1967 is when
Really? Okay.
we got it going. The name actually changed. It used to be the Indian Baptist Mission.
Grace.
And then
later.
when Dad, we came back from Florida, and it was still going, but there were hardly any members. Matter of fact, Grandma is the one that kept it going while we were in Florida. And so then when we got back, of course, everything changed. And we changed the name to Grace Christian Fellowship. And my aunt, the missionaries, Baptist missionaries, they came and they wanted to start a Baptist mission. And so when they asked her if they could use her yard or her home. And it wasn't a big home. And it was a small house, but the yard, she had, when they started, it was under the stars. It was, she had trees. So we met actually out in our front yard, and we had benches or whatever chairs we could grab up.
Yeah.
And that's actually where it started. So we wanted Grace as part of the name. And because of her name was Grace, and that was Mom's sister, her oldest sister. And so she actually started the church in her yard. And so then it went on, but years and years go by, and that's when we wanted to change the name. So we called it Grace Christian Fellowship. And so it's been that way all this time. But anyway, though, Dad pastored the church for I don't know how long. And of course, he got ill, and diabetes actually took his life. It messed his heart up. But he passed away when he was 69. And I had married Gary, of course, and Gary sat under Dad for 4 years. And after that, well, Dad kind of asking, would you just take over the church? He ordained him. He talked about that today. We were talking about it, and Dad trained him. He every time Gary came in the door, well, he would say, "Gary, you got a word?"
I love it.
Yeah, and so Gary wasn't, he wasn't really.
He had to have a word.
He had to have a word because Dad asked him,
Yeah.
and he said, "I was never going to say no." So he started out maybe 5-10 minutes, preaching 5-10 minutes. But Dad was getting him ready, and he had to be ready in season, out of season. And he always said that. He goes, he told me he got me prepared to be ready in season, out of season, whether I was ready and prepared or not. You just have to, get after it. So, but anyway, and that's that. And then we've been there, oh gosh, ever since. And,
Since 67.
yeah, since 67, that when the church actually, became a church. But, anyway, though, our church, we're still, there's been tragedies happen with the building, and everything. Lately we've needed a new floor, and so we're looking into floors, right now. We had a freeze, the freeze year. It ruined our pipes and busted our pipes, so it flooded, and it just our carpet was floating when we got there, and water was just pouring out of the church. And so we just, oh my goodness, it was terrible.
It was a setback, really.
Yeah.
Bad setback.
And so anyway, though, so we had to get all of the carpet out. We had to just move stuff out. But anyway, we're in the process of trying to do that. We got the heating and air. We have brand new heating and air system now.
New doors.
New doors. We finally got all new doors because the doors wouldn't shut after that because they swelled up with water. So anyway, though, so we're we're a small church, and but we're in the process of getting things done. But anyway, though, we do meet on Sundays and sometimes on Wednesdays.
We're 57 years old.
Yeah, 57 years old.
57.
And yeah, we celebrated actually our 50th anniversary in, when it was 50. But we had oh my gosh, we had a really good time. We're just a church that love people. And Gary always says it doesn't matter what you look like, what you wearing, just come to church. We do go live on our Facebook every Sunday morning.
Good to know. So
yeah,
anyone from anywhere can just go ahead
anywhere.
And
And sometimes Gary has like 40 people that watch it.
wow.
And we wish they'd come to church, but
yeah.
but
They look to your
but
faces.
I always tell them, come to church. I believe you just need to cut. It's not a social thing. It's just a time of fellowship, and we need each other. We need each other in person. When COVID was here, that's when the children, all the kids, they couldn't go to school, and a lot of them got depressed, and because there was no interaction with anyone.
Right.
They had their phones and everything, but it wasn't the real person, to be together. So that's something to think about, because we need each other. That's really a perfect example, because what can happen, if you're alone, you're just you face things, your mind just goes. I think that people just need to make a habit of going to church. I really do. But we do. I mean, we get up, we go to church. It's not, oh, I don't want to go today. I really don't want to go today. But no, we just get up and go. It was just like when we were kids, mom, dad, they had 6, biological kids, because she had all the foster kids too. But there were 6 of us, and we we went to church. We didn't, mom didn't, dad didn't ask us, mom didn't ask us, you know,
Same.
well,
You just went.
are you going to church? No,
Yeah.
on Sunday morning, we got up, got ready and went to church. There was no fight about it. You know, we didn't think about saying no to mom and dad, or we didn't say, I don't want to go. You know, we didn't say anything like that, but we just went to church. And, but anyway, that's, you know, that's our church. We love it. And we just want, you know, we want change. We want to see lives changed. And if you're, you know, Jesus came for the brokenhearted.
Amen.
You know, he
Amen.
came for the sick. He came for, you know, he didn't come for perfect people. You know, and because, you know, what, you know, there's no perfect people anyway. We're all, you know, we all face
So true.
challenges. We all struggle. We have trials. We have tribulations. We have, you know, we all face almost the same thing, but we have different lives, but we still face the same things every day. And so, you know, we just want people to come and learn, you know, and hear the word. And then that's what we go by anyways, the word. We don't go by, we know we're non-denominational church. And but Gary just preaches what he reads, you know, and that's the word. And so that's where we're at. We're not religious, you know. I can't say that we're religious because we're not. We don't do religion things. We do Jesus things. It's a personal relationship with Jesus. And that's how we have peace. That's how we can have, you know, joy. That's how we can love. That's Grace Christian Fellowship right there.
Well, listeners, we'd love for you to come visit Grace. For those of you who have also been online watching the services, great. Thank you for doing so. But if you'd ever like to come by, you will be welcomed with open arms. You can find the church at 17270 Fout Street. That's Fautt Street in Colgate, Oklahoma. And what are the hours, Cheryl?
Sunday morning, we say 11, but we start at 11:30. That's just kind of getting everybody around, and we just kind of talk, you know, with everybody before, and we have a good time with each other first, and then we usually never ends at the same time. So be prepared. And then a lot of times we eat after church, so you just never know. So come eat with us.
When I was there, the food was amazing. I was like,
We
how
ate
am I
then
this
too, didn't we?
lucky? Shofa and frigid.
Yes.
And
I wish I had some right now.
It was
now
good.
we're getting hungry.
Yeah.
Well, another question. Do you sing Choctaw hymns in every service?
Yes, we do. Yes,
Oh,
every
that's
service.
Every
amazing.
Yes.
service.
And on the first Sunday of the month, that's all we sing.
Oh,
We
I
just sing
love that.
Choctaw hymns. Yes. On
Beautiful.
first
I hope that
Sundays.
never changes. Please keep
Oh,
doing
me
that.
too. Me too. We need to sing them. We need to sing them.
Yes,
Yep.
ma'am. Well, I am so proud of our Choctaw heritage and our hymns and the fact that there are still churches singing them today. The hymns are not only a part of our heritage, but they help us to draw strength from our Creator, connect us as a community. So thank you
Yes.
both for sharing about your lives and about what the hymns mean to you. But before we go, are there any words of wisdom you'd like to share with our listeners? Miss Paula, I'll start with you.
First and foremost is, you know, your spiritual life. That's just so important. Without that, you know, not knowing the Lord Jesus and having him in your heart, forgiveness of sin in our lives, we just couldn't survive. I couldn't, but that's what I would just, in the foremost, the best thing in the world that anybody can do is to take care of their spiritual lives. And if they haven't, you know, there's time, a little bit of time left. I believe that we don't have that much time left. I believe in the coming of the Lord, and just get prepared. That would be the most of all the anything that we could possibly say or do. That would be the most. And then, of course, the second would be our families. We want families to unify and families to harmonize. And there's so much other things in this world anymore. And if when I see families
just joining together and loving each other and doing things together. That's just another big thing in our lives. That's just about all I could say.
I love that. That's perfect. How about you, Cheryl?
Well, like I said before, we each have our own struggles, but it all comes down to spiritual things. It all comes down to that. You might be going through things, maybe health wise, maybe mentally, maybe physically, maybe emotionally, but it all comes down to your spirituul life.
Amen.
And who you trust and who you can trust. And when there's chaos around and just because this world is not pretty. It is not. It never will be. But I know who can make a difference. Mm-hmm. And when you get to that point in your life when there's so much that you can't take, you just can't take anymore. Well, then there is one that can turn your life around, and then you'll have peace. We all struggle with things, and there will always be troubles and trials, but through that, he's the one that takes us through it. And he can give us peace, even in the chaos, even in the turmoil or whatever. He still can give us peace. Amen. And that peace is in our hearts.
That's right.
That peace can be in our minds. And he's the one that can change everything inside of us. And that's really where it's at. That's really where it's at. You can have all this chaos going on, in your life, all around you. But where the peace is and where he brings peace is right here. And he can do that. And no matter what's going on, we can still have peace. We can have joy. We can have love. And that's where it's at. It'll always be like that. And we as Native people, we always knew that. And we always lived that, because we always knew there was Creator. We always knew that. And he's the one that took care of us on this land anyway in the first place. And so we've always been spiritual people. And that's where we have peace, and that's where how we can communicate with each other, and love each other and care for each other. It's not, we are givers, yeah, but we are sharers mostly. We just share what we have. We might not have a mansion, we might not have $1 million in the bank or nothing like that, but what we have, we share. And that's Native people. That's just how we are.
Yes, it is.
And we can bank on that, because we help each other that way. We can't, always do monetary. We can't always, but we can be there for each other and share what we have, because what we have is yours. It's just, it's not going to be here. It's just material stuff anyway. And we're not going to take it with us when we go, when we leave this earth. We're not going to, we're not going to take it with us. So, that's just the way it is, and we share it with each other. And anyway, though, but that's where it's at.
We've always known that there was Creator.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That,
yes.
He was with our people, our ancestors on this land, taking
Forever,
care of us.
yes.
So
yeah.
I really appreciate your saying that. Thank you for that perspective, and for both of you sharing your time today. Yakoki.
Yakoki.
Thanks for listening to Native Chalk Talk. Be sure to join our community on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and check us out at nativechalktalk.com. Stay tuned for the next episode. You're going to love it. Yakoki. Thank you, my friends.